Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel once again. So in this video we are going to be talking about trend lines. All right, so many persons have been asking me questions about how to draw trend lines correctly. All right, so the basic thing you need to know how to draw trend lines is the ability to identify highs and market direction. Once you can identify highs and lows and market direction, then you can easily plot a trend line. All right, it's very easy. All right, so once you look at the chart, let's say you notice the market is creating higher highs and higher lows, then you draw your trend line, you pull out the trend line to join the lows, the higher lows, then you also join the higher highs. That is, you have drawn trend lines. The same thing is applicable to the bearish scenario. All right, so today I'll be demonstrating using this particular pair, volatility 10 1s index, and I'm on the daily time frame. All right, okay, so on this pair, on this chart, you can see we have a trend line just like this. All right, there's a trend line just like this. You can see we have a low at this point where the market started buying from, and then we notice the market, if you try to adjust the trend line, you see the market has been reacting on this trend line up to this level. All right, because initially, let me tell you guys this, initially when the market started forming, if you I believe so well that you would want to draw a trend line like this is what you'll be having, something like this. This is what you'll be doing initially when the market starts creating the trend, after the first high, after the say sorry like what I mean is this, let me get the arrow line too. After the market bought from here, then it got to this level and pulled back, they started buying again. Trust me, this is going to be your first high, which you would want to join the trend line. So you'll be having something like what we are having here. You understand? But you'll see that at some point after this, the market never respected it again, except from the other side, from here. So this trend line at this point becomes invalid, because if you notice, you will see that the market rather respected this other side. You see, the market rather respected this support here, and you can adjust this to fit it properly. So this makes the trend line now, makes this particular trend line the proper the correct trend line to draw to join these highs at this point, this lower highs here, you can see. So sorry, higher lows. And if you extend it to the upside, you will expect the market to react to this trend line on getting back to this trend line, because market has been reacting on this trend line. You can see all the reactions. For how many reactions from the beginning here up to here? You see we have about 5 reactions. You have a 1 2 3 4 5. So if market comes back to this trend line, we are expecting it to buy, or it breaks through it, then retest, then continues selling to the downside. All right, that's one of the trend lines here on this chart. Then we also have another trend line here. There's another trend line, guys. Let me zoom out a bit so I can see better. There's another trend line here. You see at the top, we noticed the market was selling from, we have a high here. At this point, there is a high here, and there's a lower high at this point. You join them and draw straight and wait for market to get there again. That's a trend line, guys. And you can see market got to that line, that trend line the third time. What happened? You see the reactions of the market. It broke close above it, then still came back and has been consolidating around this zone. Now it's trying to create a kind of a double top here, as you can see. Can you see that? So this trend line here is correct. This trend line here is correct. The only thing you should understand is that there's nothing like a single line in the market. Most times people draw trend lines this way. They use tools that help them get it double, like make it a zone, not just a single line. Some people use things like this to make it look like a zone, because the market can decide to go above this first line, then maybe respect the second line, and you see it's just moving within that those two lines. So it makes it a zone rather than just using a single line. But I don't like using double lines or anything that makes it or using the other two. All right, so this is correct at this point. This is a trend line at this point, and we also have another trend line here. There's another trend line. Just look out for the lows and the highs, or lower highs and lower lows and lower highs. Sorry, look at this. Look at this one here. Okay, so you can see we have this, and you see market respected it the third time the market got there. See, this is the first time market sold here again. Then on buying up to this level, you can see the market broke out, then retested this trend line and it bought. because this is valid. This is a valid trend line. See, market bought nicely. All right. You can even decide to look at this one too. If we join this other two here, let me join them. We are on a daily time frame. All right. Now look at this. Look at this one here. This is the first touch, second touch. The market came here, hit this trend line, it rejected, came back, broke above it, then retested and continued buying. Now the thing is this: if you want to draw all the highs and the lows, it will make your chart look dirty. So you only consider the one that has anything to do with the current price. Are you following me? Only drawing the lines that are close to the current price, to wait for the market to get there. Then you see the reactions of the market. If the market is going to buy or sell from there, then you take action. All right. So there are so many examples here on this particular chart. There's this other one I want you guys to look at. Now look at this. Look at this. This is a trend line here. There's a trend line here at this point. There's a trend line here. All right. So you can see this. There is a trend line here. So even when market, instead of trying to struggle to draw a horizontal line to mark it as a resistance zone, or maybe support on resistance or what, you just follow the lows and the highs, or the lows the market has created, and you see the market respected this trend line, then finally broke through it, came back to do a retest, and then sold. So you see the market came back to this same trend line. You can see the rejection at this point. Let me zoom in a bit. You can see the rejection. Market got to this trend line, rejected, finally broke above it, came back to do another retest with one candlestick, then bought. All right. So if you are drawing trend lines, you want to learn how to draw trend lines, you must consider all the available highs and the lows, so that you can know, for example, where this particular trend line will be valid is if the market is somewhere down here. If the market is somewhere down here and you notice this, you can draw the trend line and wait for the market to get to this trend line. If it gets to this trend line and you notice some reactions, mind you, you are on the daily time frame, you can rush to a lower time frame, find an opportunity to trade. You understand? And for the fact that you have another trend line here, then you know that even if you take some sales, if the market gets to this trend line, there's a very high chance it's going to reverse. So you take your profit on time, because the market as of this point is somewhat bullish. Then you take your trade. If the market buys to this zone again, this trend line again, and does not show any sign that it's going to reverse, then you know it's going to break out like it did here. It broke out, then retested this line. You see the buys. All right. So you try to join this trend, these lows and these highs, you will definitely get very nice trend lines drawn on the chart. All right. There are so many examples that you can always look at. For example, there's another one here. It's another one here. All right. See what we have here. This is a trend line. You can see the trend line there. It's very simple. Don't just stress yourself with too much things. Just look at what the market is doing. That's been buying from this trend line, dropping wicks, rejections, and you can see. Then you see when market broke out of this zone, this trend line, it came back to retest with this candlestick. Then it sold. Then the market bought back to this trend line at this point. You can see it tried to reject, then finally bought up to this level here. Now, when it bought up to this level, you can see that the market did not really continue buying. Then I will show you why the market did not buy, because even when you are drawing trend lines and trying to find good setups, you have to consider other things. And what am I talking about? I mean the horizontal resistances. All right. For example, now we have this here. This is one of those complicated trend lines that will confuse you guys sometimes. You have the market creating something like this. First of all, you have to consider this. First of all, you consider the highs that can align. You find the highs that can align and you place your trend line. Like this here, you can see that this particular high here can easily align. Let me get the arrow line too. You will see that this particular high here, this high here, and this one can easily align. And mind the market bought from here too. So this makes this trend line a valid trend line. Then at some point, you see the market on getting back to this trend line, it rejected. There were rejections. Then the market finally broke out of it. Then did not go far. It still came back into the trend line. You can see. So the market literally created a fake out at this point. Then why would the market create a fake out? After breaking of a trend line, you are expecting the market to do what? To continue buying. All right, you're expecting the market to continue buying. So you have to always consider what I was about to tell you, which is the horizontal resistance and support zones. Even when you're drawing your trend lines, consider the horizontal zones too, because the market will always want to respect them. All right, like what we have here, you can see. So the market, on getting to that zone, it rejected this zone and sold nicely. So the fake out was for the market to just to get to this horizontal support zone, sorry, resistance zone, and it sold nicely to the downside. All right. So there are so many examples you can easily look at on different charts. You can do this on different time frames. All right. There's another one I even saw somewhere. Let me show you guys this too. Let me show you guys this one too. All right. Now look at this. You can see that the market, after buying from here, this is where we had the first buys, got to this level, came back, created a high, that is a higher low, then came here, created a higher low, continue creating higher lows. All right. Now if we go to the, if we bring out the trend line tool, what we are going to have is this. Initially, when the market created the first high, we want to place our trend line like this to join the first low, the first two lows. We want to join the first two lows, and we'll be waiting for the market to come to touch this the trend line again, so that we can look for opportunity to buy. But you can see the market never easily came back. This is a daily time frame. After touching this trend line, this was I think this was December 2023. It took the market a very long time before it came back to touch the trend line. Let's just trace. Let's trace it to where it touched the trend line again. Okay, you can see where the market got back to this trend line. See where it got back. This is in 2024 June 2024. So it took the market literally 6 months to get back to the trend line. All right, to show you that they must be retest and break out all those. Like when I used to tell you guys, if the market breaks out of a zone, the market must come back to do a retest on that zone. Regardless of how long it will take the market to do that. All right, so you can see the market did what? It broke out of the trend line. It touched this trend line, reacted a little, then came back, broke out, retested the trend line again, and then sold massively to the downside. All right, so now instead of waiting for the market to come back to this trend line, because you might be, these things also happen on lower time frames like the 4-hourly time frame, 1-hourly time frame. After market finding the first two lows, then the market takes the market a very long time to come to retest, so you can find an opportunity. You have to look at what the market is actually doing. You understand? From here, you can see that the market at some point started creating another trend inside here. There's another trend right here, which the market respected. You can see. So you can easily join another trend. Once you notice the market has created the first low here, and a low here, another low here, then you draw your trend line. You can see market came back to this trend line, reacted and bought. You understand? Then at some point the market took so long before it could come back to this same trend line, so it started creating another trend line inside here. So you identify that trend line and put that trend and join your line too, instead of waiting for the market to come. You can see, instead of waiting for the market to come to this one, you just have to identify what the market is doing. Mind you, I'm doing this on a higher time frame. So if I am on the with this daily time frame, then I see this opportunity, I can easily go down to the 1-hourly time frame to enter my trades, especially if the market wants to sell. If I'm finding some selling opportunities, mind you, the market is bullish, but if I'm finding some selling opportunities, I will just go down to the lower time frame and take some trades. And I know that the market, if once the market starts creating this particular trend right here, your profit should not go below this trend line. Your profit should not go below this trend line. Just want to enter some trades wherever you are entering. Ensure the market, ensure you take your profit before the market breaks out of this trend, because it might decide to reverse. It's a new trend. Until the market finally broke out of this trend line, you can see it retested this trend line at this point, then it sold. Then this time around, it came and broke out of this other trend line. This was a retest, and if you trace this retest point with this one candlestick, is in line with this high here where the market sold from. All right, so this thing is very simple. It is a very simple thing to do, and you can never understand it without you practicing it. If you watch this video just now and you feel you understand it, if except you understood this, you had a very good idea before or knowledge before about it, then you can just use this one to add more to it, add to it. That's what I mean. But if you did not, I'll advise you to watch this video over again to try to understand how to draw trend lines correctly. As you can see, market retested on this zone and it sold nicely. All right, so drawing trend lines is very easy. just look at what the market is doing. Once the market is creating higher highs and higher lows, join the lows. If you after drawing your trend, after drawing your trend lines, like joining two lows, because you need 2 points to form a line. The market create the first point, like what happened here, like what happened right here. If market creates the first point, then the second point, you on the second point is where you join your trend line. You join your line to form a trend line. You're waiting for the market to create the third line, and you notice the market is not helping, like it's not coming back to this line anytime soon. It is going very far. Try to trace that the market, you identify the market is actually creating another trend. The market is creating another trend, and then try to identify the trend. Even here, there is a trend here. This is a daily time frame, but if you go down to a 4-hourly time frame, you will notice that's a very strong bullish trend here at this point. The market was creating higher highs and higher lows here. So if you can join the trend line here, you can also take the bullish trades here. You can take some buy trades around these points here too. All right, so all you need to do is just to identify these things on time. Then you won't be wasting time on the chart, waiting for market to get to a particular point. You'll just be seeing trends. And also those internal trend lines, you need to learn how to draw them. There are internal trend lines you need to learn to draw. I wish this video is not already too long. I would have shown you some of the internal trend lines you learn how to draw, because if you know how to draw internal trend lines, it will also help you identify where market would possibly change direction. Because for example, now let me see, I think this is one of them. Let me see, I think this is one of them. This is one of them. Okay, good. Now you can see what I'm doing here. You can see what is happening here. All right, where's my arrow line tool? All right, you can see market got to this high based on this. You see, this was a horizontal level we marked as a support turn, resistance turn support. Now, but you can see that there's a trend here from the wicks of this high here. You can see market also bought from here too. Then it went up, came down, then sold and retested. You can see where we have this bullish candlestick. It's actually resting on this internal resistance line, internal trend line here, and the market sold, came back to retest on this same internal trend line, and it sold nicely. You can see. So these things happen if you can just try to identify them. Once market breaks out of a particular trend line, do not think it is over. The market can still come back to retest that particular trend line sometime in the future if you did not remove the line, or if you are able to identify that line that later in the future, depending on the time frame you are marking it. All right, so it is very simple. Once you see some highs, no matter how small the highs look, just draw them and join the highs, join the lows. You will see that you'll be very good at drawing trend lines, and you won't be having problems, guys. All right, there's even another internal trend line here. If you can notice that the market formed a little trend right here. If you not look at it closely, you see the market formed a little line here. Let me take this one off. All right, you can see the market was selling from this trend line here. You can see it. Each time market got to this trend line, it was selling. All right, so the market, even after breaking out, you see it retested this, then continued buying, came back to retest it, continued buying. So now the market, if it comes back here, it can just continue buying, or if it breaks this, then you should expect it to react with this particular one here to continue buying. All right, so, and also if you can be marking these trend lines on a higher time frame, you will see that the accuracy will be more higher. And imagine trading through all this, you'll be making so much profit, guys. You're making so much profit. All right, this video is too long. Maybe I'll try to do another video still on trend lines that will help you guys master how to draw trend lines perfectly well, to help you make some good profits from the market, and you have high probability setups. All right, guys, so subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've not done that yet. Just subscribe. I'll be so glad if you subscribe if you've not done that yet. And also like this video, share your thoughts in the comment section. All right, there's a link in the description of this video. It takes you to my Telegram channel. When you get there, you can easily find my direct contact if you want to enroll on my one-on-one mentorship, guys. All right, see you in my next video. Stay blessed and peace out.